Massive flooding continues near Boulder, Colorado. 3 people are dead and thousands are being evacuated from their homes. We have the latest.
Plus, investigators in New Jersey are trying to determine the cause of the blaze that destroyed the Jersey Boardwalk.
Also, the Secretary of Education visits at Chula Vista Middle School, and Newscene's Marilena Castellanos was there. She has the details.
And what is kicking with sports? We will take a look at Tuesday's soccer game to see who is at the top of the hexagonal. Newscene starts right now.
Welcome to this edition of Newscene. I'm Astrid Mendez-Medina.
And I am Joshua Lipton. Thank you for joining us today.
Extreme weather in Colorado is displacing residents and getting national attention. Adam Andrews is here to tell us more about the situation in Boulder County. Adam?
Thank you, Astrid and Joshua. We are getting a handle on the situation as information keeps coming in. 3 people are dead and 17 people are still unaccounted for after a flash flooding in Colorado. Thousands of residents have been urged to evacuate their homes in the Boulder County area. The county experienced record numbers with 7 inches of rainfall, the most the county has ever seen in a 24-hour period. President Barack Obama has approved federal disaster aid for the flooded areas. Also, the National Guard has been called in to help move residents to safety.
I think we have the evacuations, so making sure we get everybody, especially the elderly, the infirm, out of Lyons. We've got an evacuation going on in Commerce City. I mean, those evacuations are the highest priority.
I've been here 30 years in Crestview, seen forest fires and other floods, but never seen anything like this. This is unspeakable, and it's going to get worse, they say.
The National Weather Service has issued a flash flood warning. At this hour, there is no time limit on when the warning will be lifted. All residents are warned to move to higher ground. And hopefully the flooding will end soon. However, there is a tropical storm developing in the Gulf Coast, so unfortunately rain may continue throughout the weekend.
Well, let's hope that it's not going to affect them anymore.
No,
Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome.
The cause of a 6-alarm fire that ripped through the New Jersey Boardwalk yesterday is under investigation. The blaze damaged at least 30 businesses along the boardwalk at Seaside Park and Seaside Heights. Many businesses were recently rebuilt after being destroyed during Hurricane Sandy last year. Witnesses say the fire began around 2:30 yesterday afternoon at a local shop, but authorities have not yet named an official cause of the fire. Of the 4,000 firefighters that responded to the fire, 12 suffered smoke inhalation. No other serious injuries were reported.
U.S.-funded weapons are flowing into hands of Syrian rebels. According to a U.S. official, the weapons, which are not American-made but they are funded and organized by the CIA, started to reach rebels in the last 2 weeks. The distributed firearms have been described as light weapons, some anti-tank weapons and ammunition. Rebel groups, the Syrian National Coalition, and the Free Syrian Army deny they have received any weapons at all. And a step toward international diplomacy is underway as Syrian President Bashar al-Assad says he'll cede control of his country's chemical weapons. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry arrived in Geneva yesterday to meet with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov to follow a blueprint of how when Syria will hand over its deadly stockpile. Kerry says achieving a peaceful resolution is preferable to military action, but as it stands, the Obama administration is reluctant.
The words of the Syrian regime, in our judgment, are simply not enough, which is why we've come here in order to work with the Russians.
A report claims that Assad's decision wasn't based on U.S. military threats, but the diplomatic proposal from their ally, Russia. President Obama hopes that the Kerry-Lavrov meeting in Geneva will develop a concrete result. Despite an online confession, an Ohio man has pleaded not guilty to vehicular homicide. 20-year-old Matthew Cordell admitted to driving drunk the night that he allegedly killed 61-year-old Vincent Cansani. Cordell admits to driving the wrong way and colliding with Cansani this past June.
My name is Matthew Cordell. And on June 22nd, 2013, I hit and killed Vincent Canzani. I will plead guilty and take full responsibility for everything I've done to Vincent and his family. I'm handing the prosecution everything they need to put me away for a very long time.
If convicted, Calder could face up to 8 years in prison.
The top 10% of the wealthiest people in the U.S. earn more than half of the country's total income. That's according to a newly updated study on income inequality. The research notes the incomes of working families not only worsened during the recent recession, but they have remained the same for more than 30 years. Meanwhile, the incomes of the wealthy not only rebounded in spite of the recession, but they gained over 90% of income.
U.S. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan made a special visit to Castle Park Middle School today. Marilena Castellanos has the story.
Castle Park Middle School in Chula Vista took center stage today as part of U.S. Education Secretary Arne Duncan's 2013 Back to School tour. Three years ago, a visit like this one may not have been possible. The school had low test scores and one of the worst attendance records in all the Sweetwater School District. More than half the students are English language learners who also qualify for free or reduced lunches. Despite these challenges, they have excelled academically under a White House initiative known as the Promise Neighborhood.
If you fail a test, they make you come after school to retake it, or they don't let you fail.
We've changed the culture. We're now it's like college-going culture. You know, failure is not an option. If you need help, we have all sorts of interventions. Teachers are dedicated. They're here after school. They're here on Saturdays, and so are the kids.
How many of you are going to graduate from high school? Let me hear you. How many of you are going to go to college? Let me hear you.
The program calls for greater involvement by the entire community. Since joining the program, attendance has gone up and so have test scores. In the eyes of students at Castle Park Middle School, this is a day many will never forget. This is Marilena Castellanos, Newscene.
Castle Park Middle School was the only school in all San Diego County to get a visit from U.S. Secretary Arne Duncan.
Less than 24 hours ago, state lawmakers passed a bill that would allow undocumented people to get driver's license. The approval comes on the final day of this year's legislative session. Governor Jerry Brown says it will allow millions of people to get to work safely and legally, but not everyone agrees. Brown hopes the new law will send a message to Washington about immigration reform. The state assembly passed the bill hours after the Senate also voted to pass it.
California workers will see a rise in minimum wage for the first time in 6 years. The bill passed by the state Senate will raise minimum wages from $8 to $10 by 2016. Governor Jerry Brown has promised to sign the bill, calling it an overdue piece of legislation that will help the working class.
San Diego is going green. Find out what that means for consumers.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in your face pep talk.
I don't know what you're reading.
I can keep pushing.